We're conducting an experiment in this video. Your SFF girly right here, that's me. Hi, hello. I'm Brenda, and I am a sci-fi and fantasy reader to my core. I decided to read some books out of my comfort zone, but are the favorite 5-star reads of one other booktuber in particular, Destiny Sidwell. This book was so good. You know, I just want something that's gonna like knock my socks off. I do enjoy a cocky male lead. I picked out 3 books to read, and we're gonna see how I feel about them and if they work for me, because I'm not normally a romance reader. Every now and then I like to switch it up because sometimes you need a break from the genre that you read in all the time. You know what I'm saying? Over here is my TBR list that I made for May, and there's quite a bit of books on there, but we're gonna put those aside for the next week and see if I can get through these 3 romance books that Destiny loves so very much. I feel like I should be able to read these romance books pretty quickly. They are due to be delivered to me today. Let's see how it goes. Wish me luck. Follow me around for the entire week. We'll do it vlog style, a little bit of reading, a little bit of whatever. Let's go.
About Powerless by Lauren Roberts for a sec. She's getting her moment, as she deserves. If you like Peter Millark, but he's a little bit more dangerous, read this. The 7-Year Slip. This book changed me. Started this book at the airport, and I almost finished it on like an 1.5-hour plane ride because I literally refused to put it down. Love, in other words, a masterpiece. Every frame of the word. That's a little dramatic. 2 bookish people falling in love, and it's, you know, the story and the history behind them, the emotional depth is truly unmatched. If you guys
I started Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. Oh my god, it's so good. I started it like 1.5 hours ago, and I'm already 120 pages in. It is 2 timelines. They met when they were kids, fell in love, like really young, and then something happened. I don't know what yet, and they went their separate ways. And you hear the cicadas. Now they've run into each other like 11 years later, and everything comes rushing back. I love this trope in romance when it's well executed. Tugs at my heartstrings. The main female, Macy, she lost her mom when she was 10. She meets Elliot when she's 13. He helps her heal. They're just like the whole soulmate tropes, and I'm loving it so much. It's already like gotten getting teary-eyed. Yeah, I'm loving it. I'm glad. Update. I read at least 250 pages last night, if not 3. I don't have very much more to go in Love and Other Words, and I am loving it so much. It's definitely a heartwarming story. Some of my favorite tropes, it's not steamy or it's none of that. It's all very cozy. There's lots of book reading and talk about favorite words. This boy who, he just gets her. They're best friends. It's the sweetest, and I am really loving it. The difference between reading fantasy and sci-fi and then switching to romance is there's not a lot of setting and world building detail in these books because they are set in the real world, and they just assume that the reader is going to understand what the real world looks like. So most of the focus is on the characters, their traits and habits and interactions. I'm enjoying the change of pace. For me, it's good to change it up every now and then because I get burnt out on a particular genre. I hope that the rest of the books from Destiny's favorites are just as good as this one, because I would have hate to have started with the best one and then have to read two that suck. I am going to go pick up the book here soon. It's about 12:30. I'll probably have some lunch and then sit down and finish the book because I can't get enough. It's so good. I'll make sure to put all the tropes in here for each book because I know that's a thing and it can be important. Are you gonna be able to hear me over the cicadas? Jeez. I just finished Love and Other Words. I loved it. I loved it. It was so good. It's definitely gonna be like a 4.5, maybe even 5 stars for me. It just felt so cozy and sweet, and it had a little bit of spice. Not much. Basically like a couple small scenes. Nothing crazy. The reunited trope, one true love. He is the one that falls first, or maybe they fall at the same time, I don't know, but he is more open to love and vocal. It is just the sweetest. And a little blurb on the back, and it says, the book that make you believe in love again. And I think that nails it. That totally nails it. This book was so good. I highly recommend if you are ever looking for a quick, easy, it definitely was emotional. Totally enjoyed it. Highly recommend. I read it in 2 days. Quick read. It's 400 pages. Go read it. So good. I forgot to mention that I think next I'm going to start the 7-Year Slip. So that one is contemporary, I believe, with maybe a little bit of magical realism. And then the third book that I have is Powerless. And that one is romantasy, which is kind of closer to what I read now when I read a lot of fantasy. I'm excited for that. We'll see how it goes. I think Powerless is a little bit bigger, maybe like 500 pages. And it might be a little bit longer to get through since it is fantasy and there's more world building. And so far, so good. I'm glad I did this. Update on the 7-Year Slip. I got to page 90 last night. I am not loving this one as much as Love and Other Words. It feels like it's going to do the insta-love trope, which I don't love. It also feels predictable. Some of the little clues and hints I've picked up on, I already have a pretty good idea as to where this is headed. There are some things about it that I think are cute. The fact that she works in publishing and it talks about books. I mean, it's still early and maybe it'll change. Maybe I will love it. But as of right now, I am not that impressed. Even the writing itself feels a little bland at times. But I'm hoping that it gets better, and I'm hoping that it really ends up working for me, and maybe the predictableness, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe what I predict is not actually going to happen, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure it is. This is day 3. Maybe I'll finish it today. I'll definitely finish it tomorrow. Move on to the next one, but keep you posted as far as my feelings and what I think. I just finished the 7-Year Slip. I literally started it yesterday. I read most of it yesterday. I think this is going to be like a 3.5 star for me. I really enjoyed it. It was fun. The romance was cute. I enjoyed the fantastical element. Knocked it down in rating for me is the insta-love, and some of the dialogue just felt pretty over the top. Things that no real person would actually say. It was more, I felt, just to like get a reaction, which that just doesn't really work for me, especially in romances that can be cheesy enough already without having weird dialogue. Nobody's really gonna say that. At the beginning, some of the humor really just wasn't funny. It felt like the author was trying too hard to make their banter cute and funny, and I just didn't find it funny at all. I will say towards the middle part of the book, I actually found the interactions between the two main characters entertaining. I enjoyed that aspect of them. I wasn't crazy about the ending, just it wasn't quite as satisfying as I hoped it might be. And I feel like there was such a strong emphasis on the relationship between the main character and her aunt. And really, you never get to meet the aunt. I really don't care. I don't care about the aunt. Like, yeah, she died. They were close and they traveled together, but I've never met her. I've never seen them interact other than the author telling us about their interactions. And so for there to be such a big focus on her grief over her aunt's passing, honestly, I just didn't care. I didn't give a shit. I didn't love this. I don't know if I would read from this author again. I mean, it wasn't a bad book, but it wasn't great, in my opinion. The predictability part, I got that mostly right. I mean, there was some aspects of it that I didn't guess, but the gist of it, I guessed like pretty much instantly, like pretty much right away. Like I knew where it was going and how it was going to end. That sucks. Honestly, I want something surprising. I want something not super cliche, or, I just want something that's going to like knock my socks off. Like if I'm going to read romance, it needs to feel real. The banter needs to be good. The interactions between the love interests, it needs to feel real, and it needs to inspire heat. It needs for me to root for them. And while I did find myself rooting for them a little bit, I've had better. Anyway, that's my update. It's it's Friday at like 2:40. I'm going to probably take a little break from reading, and then I'm going to start Powerless later tonight. I will let you know how that goes. Also, you'll notice that I did not tab or underline anything in this book, which is a clear indicator that I was not inspired by or overcome with feeling by anything that was in here. Do with that what you will. Like I said before, I am not a huge romance reader. It's not my genre of choice. I am pretty particular about my romance. It really has to knock my socks off for it to rate in my book. I will keep you posted. Didi, hi, beer dog. Beer doggy. Hopefully Powerless is better. We'll see.
Thank you so much for joining us today for 60-minute intervals run. We've got some work to do today, but before we get going,
I am 90 pages in, and I think I like it. It's pretty fun. I really am enjoying the female character in her snarky, quick-witted way about her. The male main character I am enjoying too. I love his cockiness. Maybe that sounds counterintuitive. I don't know, but I do enjoy a cocky male lead. And he is that. I will say this feels very much like a twist on the Hunger Games. But I really enjoyed the Hunger Games, so I'm not mad about that at all. In this one, the difference is most of the characters have some sort of power that they can wield. I don't know if the trials are like to the death, or I don't know all like the rules and stuff, but they do have the same build up and lead up to the trials where they do training, interviews, a ball. I imagine that's where the romance part is going to really come into play. It'll end with the trials. And I'm sure something dramatic will happen. This book is 500 pages, but the words are pretty small in it. Moving pretty quickly. I think I'm gonna like this one hopefully better than The 7-Year Slip. It's feeling that way. Yay for that. I'm gonna keep going and I'll check back in later after I've made more progress. It is Sunday and I have 200 pages left of Powerless. Technically this challenge goes through Monday. I'm sure I will finish it in time. I really am liking it. I like the chemistry between the two main characters. I like that she is independent and strong, a free thinker, gives him a run for his money. And I like that he is this cocky, strong opponent, but yet when he's around her, he's soft and cute. Typical girly things, I guess. The only thing I think that threw me off and put me off a little at the start was how derivative it is of the Hunger Games, because it really is, very much so. It almost felt like fan fiction at first, but I feel like it's taken enough of a turn to where it is pulling its own weight, and I think the fact that they have powers, there's a little bit of a definitive difference because of the fact that the royals are taking place in the games, and it's got its own quirky differences. I probably won't finish it today, but I definitely will finish it early tomorrow, and then I will give you a little wrap up. Bye! Soon to be a house put there. This is the property next to ours. I finished Powerless last night and I really, really liked it. I think this is going to be a 4-star for me. Like I mentioned, it was sort of like the Hunger Games, but as it progressed, it had its own unique twists. I found the characters so enjoyable to read. Their banter, their snarky wit, and their chemistry was top notch. The ending totally surprised me. I didn't see it happening. I didn't see it going in that direction, and that is a win in my book. I really loved the strong female lead as well as the male character who is both strong and cocky, but also charming and sweet. I really enjoyed this. I read 200 pages yesterday. I powered through this. This is a series. This is book 1 in a series, and I will definitely pick up book 2. I am hungry to see where this is going to go. If you've read this, then you know it definitely took a turn. I'm interested to see where that is going to take us. So these 3 books are what I read. Such a good time. So thanks to Destiny for her awesome suggestions. I read them over 6 days. I was actually shocked that I flew through them. I read them each, I think, in 2 days, which I think one was 400, one was 300, and one was 500 roughly each. Granted, these are not within my normal genre. They are romance, and so they were easy, quick reads for me. I gave one of them 3 stars, one of them 4 stars, and one of them 5 stars, which I feel is a pretty successful reading challenge. I think I will definitely be doing this again, picking another YouTuber and the books that they gave 5 stars to or that they loved or all-time favorites. It got me out of my comfort zone. It made me read books that I wouldn't have normally picked up on my own. I am very, very happy with how it all turned out. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was really so much fun for me to make. I just really enjoyed reading these books. It was just something so different, and I feel like it got me out of like a little bit of a slump that I was headed in. Hope you liked it. If you are interested in seeing another video like this, maybe give me a suggestion on another booktuber that I should choose some of their favorite books to read and see how I feel about them. So I'll see you again soon, guys. Thanks for watching.
That's it. I don't know what else to say. I am freaking matching with my background today. That was not planned, but we'll take it.